I was a practicing clinician working in a home health agency model. I wasn't allowed to dose my patients as per best practice guidelines. So I said, there's gotta be a way to do this better.
My grandmother and my grandfather, I started seeing them going in and out of long-term care. It started personal, seeing the sick side of 80, and now it's been exciting to be part of FOX.
Light bulb moment.
Like, that's a complete game changer.
You can see what we can do as a practice and as treating clinicians to really make 80, 85 look so much different than it did back that long ago.
Boil it down into one saying, it's quite simply this. It's be stronger, live better longer.
Welcome to FOX Rehabilitation's Live Better Longer podcast. My name is Jim Shear, Director of Communications with FOX Rehabilitation, and my co-hosts today, I have two of them, Steph Long and Rosie Sheehan. Yeah! Shout out your disciplines before we begin.
Awesome. This is Steph Long. I'm a physical therapist. I'm also a regional director of New Jersey West 1 and the proud director of DEI here at the practice.
Yes.
Yay.
Rosie?
I'm Rosie Sheehan, and I'm a physical therapist and RQAL at FOX Rehabilitation, or with FOX Rehabilitation.
Yeah, I always psych myself out when I say your name. I'm like, Sheehan?
I know.
Sheehan?
It's actually a very
Sheehan?
soft H.
It's soft H.
Yeah, it's Sheehan. Yeah.
Sheehan.
My husband's always like, huh, whenever everyone's like, Sheehan. He's like, no, it's a soft H. And I'm like, I don't care. Whatever. It all works for me. I just really love that I have a really cute Irish name now. I was like ready to get rid of that maiden name. I was like,
Moving on.
So I am joined by Steph and Rosie because we are going to recap APTA's CSM in San Antonio, Texas. Now, a week after we left, it was 70 degrees. I mean, I feel like I shouldn't harp on the weather right out of the gate, but I am. It was cold.
It was terrible. It was terrible.
It was like in your bones terrible.
Yeah, cold, ice, snow in Texas.
And they weren't built for it. So I just felt like even when the heat was pumping in the room, you were still freezing.
Yeah.
It was like going right out the window.
No, it's hard.
They told us.
Yeah, it's hard to explain because we're East Coasters. We're used to the cold. But there was something about San Antonio when we were there. Like, I felt it in my bones.
Oh, yeah.
I feel like this podcast could go off the rails because
it's already done it.
I'm sorry. You can't keep us in the same room.
because I do want to talk about CSM, but there are so many side stories because there was a flight that was canceled.
Yes.
That was going to take many Fox clinicians to San Antonio. So it was in Dallas?
In Dallas. No flight for us, so we had the pleasure of renting a car and bonding for 5 hours.
No, it wasn't a car. It was bigger than a car.
It was bigger. I mean, there's some pretty big personalities in there. So
no, but wasn't it a Suburban?
It was, in fact, a Suburban XL, I think it was. 5 clinicians, many outfits to change to be appropriately dressed and professional looking at CSM.
Oh my gosh.
It was a hearty ride. A lot of yeehaws going on, and it was a good time.
It was like a 5.5 hour ride?
Something like that, yep.
Because it rained, so Will had to drive slowly.
Yep.
And then as soon as you landed in San Antonio from the Suburban flight, you had to go right into a recognition ceremony.
We ran so that we could be there as Rosie was being recognized.
Yeah.
Which was
you
awesome.
You looked great. You looked fantastic. Not like you'd spent 5 hours in a car at all.
Not at all. And our breath was fabulous.
So fresh-faced.
Yep.
It was wonderful.
Well, that was a lovely segue. So you roll into the recognition ceremony. So Rosie, take us through that.
It was really awesome. So it was a great opportunity. Everyone that had received their certification, so specialty board certified certifications for the years of 2020 and 2021 were there. So we had a bunch of, geriatric specialists, but also neuro specialists, oncology, every kind of all around the entirety of the combined sections portion of the APTA. So it was really awesome. They recognized all of us in the beginning. We got to walk in, have a little moment, wave at our family, get our pictures taken, and then we listened to a great lecture on ethics. Mm-hmm. And then we got some really delicious food afterwards. So that was all part of it. It was really great. It was a fantastic time.
Big room too. Like I feel
Huge
like
room.
That was probably the biggest presentation room at CSM. I couldn't imagine one bigger than that.
Yeah, it was like the main ballroom. It was had us go earlier for like a, what do you call it, like a practice run. And it was even creepier when it was super empty and you had like you and like 5 other people and you're like, they had us like practice by section. And people were just like coming in and being like, oh my gosh, this room is huge. It's got like that blue lighting, like, you know, like you're on a TV show or something. Yeah, it was very majestic.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was great.
All right, so that was, I believe that was Wednesday evening, right?
Yes. Night
so
one.
that would have been February 2nd, if anyone's keeping track of dates. So then we move on to Thursday. What did Fox do at the combined sections meeting on Thursday? Can we remember that far back? It was only 2 weeks ago.
We went to a breakfast.
Oh,
We started our day super early.
I got to meet the legendary Dr. Carol Lewis.
Legend.
She had breakfast with us. Yes. And Steph fangirl just a little bit.
Just a little
but
bit.
I understand.
Okay, well, let's stop right
fangirl.
there. Steph, why did you fangirl out over Dr. Carol Lewis?
So I like to be inspired. I always find people in my life that inspire me, whether it's professionally, personally. It could be an athlete. It could be an actress. Doesn't matter. Just someone who I find inspiration. And I do find great inspiration from Dr. Carol Lewis, just everything she's done for the profession. She's such an amazing communicator, such insight with our profession and really what our profession should be doing. So I really try to keep my cool around her, but I don't think I really succeed in that. So we were able to sit down together with breakfast and got to pick her brain a lot. So it was awesome.
And we took an Uber with Dr. Carol Lewis.
It was probably the best Uber of my entire life. And we went 2 blocks, a block and a half, but it was raining. And is that when I think Rosie walked and she's the one that
walked.
Yeah, and fell, almost fell.
Yes, like 5 times while you guys were in this luxurious Uber.
It was a minivan. It was a minivan.
Were there snacks, breath mints in it?
I always keep snacks in my bag.
Journey? Of course.
Always, just in case.
Just in case.
So then, what was it, Thursday night, we went to the PT Fund event?
Yes, that was awesome. That was the Celebration of Diversity event. And that is something that APTA has every year through the PT Fund. And with all of the donations and the fund itself helps sponsor the Minority Scholarship Fund, which I believe they've contributed over $1 million to help continue to make our professions more equitable via scholarship. So a great event. There was salsa dancing. There was a DJ. It was just incredible all night long. Great food, great experience, I would say.
And Steph encouraged me to participate in one of those, I guess they're called participation dances, which I never do at weddings. Like I don't do the electric slide. I don't do the wobble. Did I do the wobble at that party?
Yeah. I don't even know if that's the right name. Rosie, you're younger than I am. Is that the right name?
Yeah, I guess so. I don't know.
We did that. I think the cha-cha slide, was that on there?
Oh, wow. The cha-cha slide
I get intimidated by the group dances.
I was nervous too. I'm not going to lie. I was nervous.
I can't imagine you being nervous to do the cha-cha slide.
It's been a long time.
We don't know. I don't know the moves.
They tell you what to do in the song.
It's a lot of peer pressure, Rosie. People are going the wrong direction. Trying to look professional. How do you look professional doing the cha-cha slide?
That's true. That's hard.
So,
that's a tough one.
While we were at this event, I'm assuming Rosie was prepping for her big CSM presentation the morning after.
Yeah, I wish I had been doing the cha-cha slide, but I was practicing and prepping, even though I probably it was just like nervous practicing. And then I got to bed, like probably the earliest I've gotten to bed in like the last 15 years, to be honest.
Oh, well, that's good.
I was in bed and asleep by like 9:45. It's like, just go to bed. You have to be up early, fresh faced.
I would think that maybe you wouldn't be able to sleep, but you got to bed early that night.
I was just like, just put yourself to bed. You know, when you have those moments when you're like, if I stay up, I'm just going to be anxious and nervous. So just go to bed. Just be done with it.
So then it's the next morning.
Yes, bright and early the next morning.
So Rosie Sheehan, and Will Dieter presenting at CSM Telehealth for older adults. Now, obviously, you can't take us through the whole 2-hour presentation now because this is like a 20-minute podcast, but give us the condensed version.
So the condensed version was we introduced everyone to telehealth for the older adult, modifications that should be made, considerations that should be made when treating an older adult via telehealth, safety concerns, health concerns, and just safe ways to progress exercises to continue to challenge our patients without increasing their risk for falls while we're not present. So we gave them like a rubric or like a framework to work with and use and utilize in their practices.
It was very engaging.
It was amazing. As a participant there watching, it was, I mean, yes, I'm biased, right? Those are my colleagues. I'm so proud. But honestly, it was insightful. It really brought a lot of great information. And people who were not affiliated, just standard people at this course, they were engaged. They were excited about it, asking great questions, tons of positive feedback. I think for me, just to see my colleagues out there and presenting and just owning the material was amazing. They killed it. It was awesome.
Thank you.
We've been to presentations before where people just talk for like an hour and a half straight. And there's a point where you zone out. But I loved how, like, around every 15, 20 minutes, you would pose a question to the audience. They would have to get on their phones and type the answer. So you kept them engaged the entire time. And I loved that around an hour and a half, you stopped and you said, hey, any questions? And you had this amazing half-hour dialogue. And everyone's like, oh, I loved it. This is what I do with my patients. And I could feel the energy in the room. Like you did something special at CSM.
Yay. Yeah, it was really awesome to have so many people participating. I think that's like your biggest concern when you go into a presentation is like, is everyone just going to be asleep and just like waiting? Or like, you know, at CSM, people can just kind of walk out at any point and you just like stand at the front and you can watch them as they leave. And so I've been watching people do that like all, you know, Wednesday and Thursday. And I was like, I really hope that doesn't happen to us. And we lucked out. So I think that's like how you can get an idea if people are like interested. And we even got to the end of it and Will was like, all right, guys, just so you know, this is technically over, but you can stay and ask whatever questions you want. So, and at the end of it, some guy I'd never met came up and took a selfie with us. And I felt like a celebrity. He's like, I really want to take a selfie with you guys. You guys are great. And I was like, with me? Sure. That's fine.
I have a picture of that moment, which is great.
It was pretty amazing. I was like, this random guy wants to take a selfie with me. This is great.
And Will was great on the mic. Like he had so many funny little side comments that kept me engaged the whole time.
Yeah, he was like coming in and dropping it. Yeah, it was good.
Yeah, Will was going to join us on this podcast, but then something came up and he couldn't do it today. Speaking of the great Carol Lewis, she was in the hall when you gave your presentation. Did you notice that, Rosie? Could you see?
I did.
Okay, so what's going through your mind?
She was in the back. She came in. She like came in and sat in the back, you know, like the last possible row, but like, you know, it's her.
You could see her.
I know she's here. I know she's here. And then in the middle of the presentation, she asked a hard question. She like put me on the spot and I was like sweating. I was like, and for a second, like, you know, she asked about an FOM, sitting balance test, which is a test I use all the time. And I know it's a real FOM, but she wasn't familiar with it. So she was like, I haven't heard of that. Are you sure it's not this one or this one? And when Carol Lewis tells you that she's never heard of the FOM you use, all of a sudden you're like, is it a real FOM? Like, did I make this up? Like, am I wrong? I looked at it and like Noelle was sitting in the front and one of our other colleagues was sitting in the front row and she just locked eyes with me and just nodded yes, like giving me that affirmation that you are right. This is an FOM. Don't lose it. You got this. And I was like, yes, it is an FOM. And she's like, can I Google it? I was like, yes. And then
later in the presentation, tell us what happened.
Yeah. She came back around and at the end during that 30-minute Q&A, and she was like, I just wanted you to know that I looked up the FOM and you're right. It is a great FOM and it's way better than the FOM that I was using for sitting balance. And I was like, what just happened? Mind blown. Oh, yeah. So that was like
amazing.
Peak life right there.
And afterwards, I was walking out of the hall with Dr. Carol Lewis. She shouted you out.
Yeah.
She said you gave a great presentation, and I could tell that she meant it. You know, sometimes people are like, oh, that was great.
That was good.
She did not say it like that. She said it with conviction.
Yay. So even though I didn't get to ride in an Uber with her and share my purse snacks with her, I still had my own special moment.
You win.
All right, so let's take a quick break. And when we come back on the Live Better Longer podcast, we've got to talk about a special yoga session that we did in San Antonio, and then our little networking event. So stick around. So while we take a quick break, if you weren't able to make it to CSM this year and visit us at our booth, guess what? You can still be part of the Fox talent community, and I will tell you how. Go to the website, careers.foxrehab.org. Scroll down near the bottom, and you'll see a section that says Join Our Talent Community. There's a little link that says Join Now. Click on that, and it's as simple as uploading your resume and giving us your contact info. And once you join our talent community, you'll be the first to know about new job openings, you'll build your professional network, and you will stand out from other applicants. So once again, the website, careers.foxrehab.org. Scroll down, you'll see Join Our Talent Community, and hit the link, Join Now. We are back on Fox Rehabilitation's Live Better Longer podcast. I am joined by physical therapists extraordinaire Steph Long and Rosie Sheehan. We are recapping APTA's CSM, that stands for Combined Sections Meeting, which happened in San Antonio, Texas this year. So, Steph, I'm so glad that I was tagging along with you because I got to go to that PT Fund event.
Awesome.
And then I guess APTA let you know about a little volunteering experience, which I believe happened the Friday of CSM.
Yes, it did. Yeah, it was really a great event. I loved how CSM and APTA really work together. They have made a commitment to helping out and really providing great service for the communities in which we have CSM with their commitment to DEI. So it was so easy to find. Literally, it was during your CSM registration. Right there, it listed opportunities for you to go out and volunteer. So we looked into it, and some of the events that they had, I looked through it, and one was a collaboration between PT Proud and PT in the Community, where they called it Yoga in the Park. So looked into it a little bit more, and what it ended up being was like a yoga fundraising and mentoring event. So with all of our lovely Fox friends, Rosie, Noelle, Jim, you, and myself, we were able to go and participate for the afternoon, which was awesome. We were able to do yoga with some of the folks who live at Thrive Youth Center. And what they do is they provide emergency housing or temporary housing for youth who are homeless in the San Antonio area. And it's for the LGBTQ plus youth of San Antonio who are suffering with homelessness. So it provides them opportunities, not just for housing, but for counseling, health advice, career advice, mental health advice. Just a great opportunity for us to share some time with them in true sense of community. Mm-hmm. So we were able to work on our yoga moves, which I have none. So I was able to learn a lot, and I was sore for 2 days. And then also just to be able to have conversation with some of the folks who are at the shelter right now and going through their youth program, and kind of talk to them a little bit about physical therapy, what it is that we do and how we do it. Some of the residents knew about PT, others had no idea what physical therapy was. So it was a nice education and mentoring opportunity. And really, we talked about healthy lifestyles and going out for further education, whether it's physical therapy or a field related to the healthcare profession. We talked about why we loved what we do. And you can see that they were like, oh, wow, that's got to be a good feeling to help others. And they couldn't understand why we were there. It's like, wait, why are you here? It's like, well, we just want to volunteer. We want to be here and spend time with you and talk about our professions and, a sense of community. So for me, it was an amazing afternoon to be able to give back to the community and to spend some great time with my colleagues out there.
Yeah, I loved it. I don't have a clinical background, so I just talked about music the entire time.
Yep. Yeah, I think you had a bigger crowd than we did, Jim, but that's fine.
Agreed.
Jim was the man of the hour.
Yes, I think you got some followers out of that event, right?
Well, like, you connect with people, and It's not like I'm going to give you my phone number
Right.
But I said, hey, listen, I am on Instagram, so feel free to follow me, and maybe someday you'll drop me a message. And if you drop me a message, I'll respond back.
Yeah.
And then after this event, this is where we parted ways. I had to hook up the sound system for our networking event. And then you two had to get a special purchase in San Antonio.
Yes. And Noelle, we have to give Noelle our shout out as well.
Yeah.
When in San Antonio, one must see the Alamo. So we did that. And across the street, Rosie really wanted to get cowgirl hats.
No.
That we wore to our networking event.
I think you wanted the cowgirl hats.
Yes. I said I wasn't going to get one. And I was like, I'm not doing this. And to be our witness, because in the Uber, I was like, I'm not getting this hat. And you know what? I love that hat.
It's a great hat. It's a great hat.
Yeah. It came home with me. I didn't leave it in the hotel. It's still with me.
Good.
And then we closed it out because we left. Well, at least I left on Saturday morning. And did we before we go on to the networking event, did we have some poster presentations on Saturday?
Yes, we did. Heather Cronin, she presented with NYU's Dr. Elaine Becker and Dr. Marilyn Moffitt on what they've been doing with students. So their virtual ICE presentations and just kind of outreach to students during the pandemic so they can get their clinical experience. So they did that on Saturday.
Yeah, and for those that have never been to CSM, it's like, like a Comic-Con for physical therapists or like a music convention.
Ooh.
But there's also this wing where there are posters up on boards and the presenters will stand there for a specific amount of time, maybe from like 2 to 4. And then you can just go up to them and ask them questions about their topic. So that's what a poster presentation is at CSM. Did I get that right, Rosie?
Yes, you did. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Nailed it.
Right.
Yeah, perfect.
So then back to Friday night. And oh, by the way, throughout CSM, we were conducting on-site interviews. So we had a booth.
Amazing.
A nice, bright orange booth. It was booth 1040. I like that number because it reminded me of like a walkie-talkie, 10-4. So
it's 10-4.
Yeah, that's how I remembered where our booth was. So we were conducting interviews the entire time. If we ran into students who expressed interest in working with Fox, we gave them a ticket to the event, and then we just danced the night away.
It was awesome.
It was amazing. And we did wear our hats.
We did wear our hats and our orange.
The networking. Oh, and our orange during our networking event. Correct.
And I met a group of students who I think liked Olivia Rodrigo as much as I did, or do.
I would have to say that was a yes.
Yeah.
Affirmative.
Because we did. I was the DJ, so I was taking requests, and I went for the 1-2 punch of "Good for You" into "Brutal." That was
you did a great job.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Do you do weddings, Jim?
I do do weddings. Yes, I have DJ'd some weddings before.
Oh my
gosh. Wow, you have?
Yeah, but the key is like you're taking requests. So it's like, I want to hear this song, you drop that song, and then everybody goes nuts. So if you listen to the crowd, you'll rock the party.
Yeah, I did ask you to play Spice Girls, and you came through for that. I think we had some people that were into it.
Did we go Wannabe? Did we go Wannabe?
Yes, we did do Wannabe, yeah. The kids loved it,
The kids.
They were into it.
Rosie, you are the kids.
I know. That's what I said. Yes.
All right, so that brings us to the end of our CSM journey. Steph, you said that you miss Rosie and vice versa.
I do.
Oh, yeah.
Isn't it weird? Like at a conference, you see each other for 3 or 4 straight days, and you almost it almost feels like you are like a family together.
It's like summer camp.
Yeah, and then you all leave, and you're like, oh, like I'm not seeing Steph today. I'm not seeing Rosie today.
Yeah.
What gives?
It was like
It's
summer camp with like indoor showers and plumbing. It was wonderful. Like upgraded summer camp. Yeah, and
My
lots
camp
of
always had showers.
Oh, I didn't. We didn't. I mean,
fine.
we had some plumbing, but it was like one main bathroom, and then you have like, all right, guess I went to just some camp in the woods. All fine.
All right. So in closing, either sum up or give me your highlights of CSM 2022. Steph.
For me, it's the education. It's like a weekend or 3 days worth of information, CEUs, new research, new evidence, things that you could take to the field literally Monday morning. And it's that sense of pride for your profession. Everyone there wants to just be better and better and better so we help our patients. And for me, it was just the commitment to DEI and seeing so many people engaged and wanting to really make a difference. So that was my highlights for CSM 2022.
Rosie?
Ooh. So I would have to agree with Steph. A great opportunity to better ourselves as clinicians and also just kind of network and get to know more people. I think for me, like getting to present at CSM was a highlight. Like it's probably like that's probably never going to happen again. So that was absolutely amazing.
Come on.
But I would have to say, like, the thing that I take home is just like the bonds I made with my colleagues, like getting to know them. Something that, like, you know, especially as a Fox clinician and especially during the pandemic, that's been one of the hardest things to do for us, right? To like get out there. And I think the opportunity to be able to do that, get to know the other people I'm working with, is just like amazing. That's why it's so important that we do more of these team building things.
Yeah.
As a team.
Yeah. I was going to say my highlight was hanging out with the Fox crew and meeting new people. I met, I'm going to call him a kid, although he's probably in his early 30s. His name's Jesse. I found out that he went to grade school like 30 seconds away from me up in Washington Heights. Shout out to Don, Carla, Carmen, Liani, all these new people I met at CSM. That was my highlight. Oh, and I also have to shout out Mars and Queen. Shout out to them too. All right. So, same time.
Popular.
Same time, same place next year?
Absolutely. Different place, but yeah.
Okay.
San Diego,
San
right?
Diego.
San Diego next year.
San Diego better not be cold and icy.
I was going to say, you're going to have some nice weather for San Diego.
So that will do it for our CSM recap for Steph Long and Rosie Sheehan. My name is Jim Shear, and we will see Yens later.